So let's look at this from 7 days out. And we're going to summarize here the 4 different areas. The training, which we've touched on, the movement prep, we've touched on the nutrition, and also add in the mental stuff. So 7 days out, training-wise, you should start avoiding those heavy barbell conditioning sessions, those 4 on the rating scale, and avoid very high rep of bodyweight sessions. If any events have been released, this is where you practice, but don't train the complex movements. So if strict muscle ups have come up in this competition, practice the skill of them, not to the point where you're getting fatigue from it. Practice the events or any elements of the events that have been released. If an event's released 3 days out, should you practice that event 3 days out from competition? What's the pro? Like, what's the advantage of doing that? Yep, you learn how to do it better. You learn what that event's like. Well, no, do, yeah. Like, do it at 95% of what you would on the day. So, yes, you're going to learn the strategy. What's the disadvantage? You're not really tapering. But do we have a net gain? That's the question. If you practicing it is going to improve your performance in that event by 10%, but the fatigue from it is going to drop your performance by 5% because you're fatigued, you take that. There's still a 5% net gain there. So quite often I would say, yes, you're going to get more benefit from practicing that event, as long as it's not something ridiculous that's going to leave you super sore. If it's a 1 or 2 on that neuromuscular fatigue rating scale, definitely give it a crack. 3, maybe, 4, perhaps not. But if you've got a good broad training stimulus and you've adapted and learned lots of different things, you should have a good idea and a good self-awareness of your body. Movement prep, again, active range of motion through all degrees of freedom before training. The corrective, your stuff after training, your movement therapy, and your soft and deep tissue work. Nutrition, start to increase your water intake a little bit. If you're dehydrated until 2 days before, hormone levels in our body respond to how much water we have coming in, and you're going to try and store water or not. So if you then try, okay, I'm going to get hydrated with 2 days to go, it's going to be too late. So make sure you're doing that from the 7 days out. 3 to 5 meals a day, good balance of those macronutrients that we've talked about. 30 grams of whey protein, 60 grams of glucose after training as well. Start to get your sleep patterns right. You don't want to be going into an event jet lagged when you haven't even been on a plane. So go to bed a minimum of 8 hours before you'll have to wake up on competition day. So if you know that on comp day you have to be up at 6 o'clock, you need to be going to bed at 10 o'clock a week before. So your sleep patterns are good. Because don't count on the night before the competition having a good sleep. Because it's possibly not going to happen because you're going to be nervous, your sympathetic nervous system is going to be firing, and sleep is part of rest, and rest is probably not going to be happening so good if this thing's going crazy. So get those sleep patterns regular. Try and get a good sleep 2 nights before, and then you can assume that you won't a night before, and you'll be okay with that. Start going through the event strategy, which we talk about in our final module today, and then a bit of visualization imagery, which we touched on earlier today as well. 6 days before, again, still practice the events or elements of the events if they've been released. Same stuff for the movement prep, same stuff for your nutrition. Keep going with the sleep patterns for the mental stuff. Keep going with your strategy and visualization. We start to get a little bit closer. 5 days out, we should start avoiding these high neuromuscular fatigue rating things like powerlifting, strength work, Olympic lifting, high rep posterior chain work. Because when you're fatiguing that posterior chain through high rep stuff, it's quite hard to let that recover. Still practice events, practice individual elements of the events. Everything else here is the same: movement prep, nutrition, and mental work.
Is your nutrition 30-40 or 30-60?
It's 30-60. There was a typo on that previous slide.
In every slide.
Okay, sorry. Yep, 60 of the glucose, 30 of the protein. 4 days out, you can now start to avoid monostructural run, row, swim, cycle type continuous cardiovascular work as well. Stuff that's hundreds or thousands of repetitive contractions, which may take you a long time to recover from. Olympic lifting drills will now be removed as well. Everything else here is the same. keep going through, following those steps for movement prep, nutrition, your mental stuff. 3 days out, no training unless the net gain of that training is more than what you would lose from intensity and exercise. 2 days out, avoiding all intensity. Still going through, even though you're not training, doing your movement preparation stuff, still keep going through and getting those sleep patterns correct. The day before the event, the same stuff, still go through, get your movement prep done, you're preparing for the competition so your body's feeling really good, and keep the intensity down and sleep as best you can.